This is Brazos Lake's Town Hall meeting on April 4th from 6 to 8 at the George Historical Ranch, protesting the Signorelli alignment of the Fort Bend Toll Road. So we're going to try to get this meeting wrapped up in about an hour and a half, and when we're done, hopefully around 7:30, we'll have a question and answer session, possibly if we have a little bit of time. We want to make sure that we're out of here at 8 o'clock and everything is clean, things like that. We're very happy that the George Foundation allowed us to use this hall. It was hard for us to find a place. It didn't cost us $1 million in insurance rider. But I don't want to keep talking. I want to get straight to the point here. There's a lot of information to digest. There's some people in this room today that we're trying to sway the Fort Bend Toll Road Authority who are here. We have some pressure here from certain people that are higher up in government that want to see this also. From what we heard, they're not very pleased as to what's going on here, especially with the county commissioners being tight-lipped and the county commissioners constantly saying, when this issue is brought to them, no comment, no comment, no comment, no comment. All county commissioners, they're paid by our taxes. They should all be transparent. They should all be listening to the will of the people. That was kind of one of the things that Ann and I said when we won moving to Grand Parkway 20 years ago. Okay, it's coming right through Brazos Lakes. Let me continue because there's a lot of information here to digest. We're going to first start talking about Brazos Lakes and the impact to us. Then we're going to get into the possible danger to the water supply of Rosenberg that this new alignment, proposed alignment, could have. And then we're going to talk about the money situation that could be gone from Fort Bend County as far as the George Ranch and their charitable contributions. So we've got three parts to this, and we're going to start with Brazos Lakes first. If you didn't know, I'm a teacher, and this is a little bit antiquated for me. I'm used to just boom, 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 boom going through. So we're going to give it a try and see how this works. So if you know, this is us, Austin Point. This is our Facebook page, and you should be able to find this. It says, vote no Austin Point, and kind of use that because it's the Fort Bend Toll Road in the background. That's just something we came up with, and hopefully you see that around town. This is what maybe you saw. So let me see some hands. How many of y'all are Brazos Lakes residents? Raise your hand. I want to see that you are Brazos. Good. There's a whole lot of people here. How many of y'all are here because you saw something and are concerned about your water supply? Let me see that hand. You see that hand? Good. About your water supply. And how many of you are here that are not residents and not about the water supply, but are here about your increase in possible taxes? Okay. Okay. Good. So we're trying to get a feel as to, once this meeting is over, where we need to be putting our energies, okay? As to where, we need to steer this fight that we've got in our hands. All right, so most of you are in here that are from Brazos Lakes. You've already seen this. This is in your yellow folder. And this is the map. This is a developer's map. This is a map that has been saturated all over the internet. Because it's kind of funny that you don't see an actual official map. You're seeing a developer's map. And this is, this is one of the tactics they use to keep on showing it to you until you believe that this is true. This is not true by any means. Okay? So together, hi neighbor, together Ann and Franson and I, Genesee Quay, are leading the fight to move Fort Bend Toll Road back. Fort Bend Toll Road back to its original route, 1.5 miles away from our community. In 2003, Ann and I fought the attempted realignment of the Grand Parkway Segment C by a one-and-done county commissioner, and we won. We had the Grand Parkway move back to its original route and not coming through our community. Unfortunately, history seems to be repeating itself. Our current county commissioner's court has conspired to move the Fort Bend Toll Road 1,200 feet from our western property line to accommodate the financial gain of the Austin Point developer, Danny Signorelli. The county commissioners all refused to comment on their unanimous vote. They got in that court, and in 29 seconds, they all voted yay. If you thing about Commissioners Court, there's always one who abstains and doesn't vote. It's funny how they all voted all at one time because they were given campaign contributions from Danny Signorelli to vote for his route. This alignment is dangerously close to our community and requires a costly new environmental study and a new record of decision which taxpayers, you and me, will be paying for. Fast forward to today. If you know anything about our corrupt county commissioners in Fort Bend County, they're at it again. Before we go any further, what should be of interest to you if you live in Fort Bend County, as that if you allow them to succeed in what you're about to hear and read, be prepared to pay over $100 million more in taxes. Be prepared to have your freshwater supply endangered, compromised, or pay more for it. So here we go. Thank you for your interest in our fight. It will be your fight too. So you may have heard about a new development coming to Fort Bend County called Boston Point. What you have never heard is its negative impact on Brazos Lakes. Brazos Lakes is not opposed to development. We're not opposed to the toll road. We're not opposed to the Grant Parkway. However, we knew eventually growth would come. And this growth should never have a negative effect on any established communities. So those of you that have any of the paperwork in front of you, you're already reading the green. So the green is the good. So I'll try to keep this in color so you can see it and understand how we're going back and forth with this. So green is good. The George Foundation preferred alignment, and as of now, I'm just going to call it the George alignment. Okay? So we're just going to say the George alignment from now on. So the original alignment green of the Fort Bend Toll Road and its connection to the Grant Parkway has been the only public map since 2017. Keep in mind, we have many new homes that were built along our western border, knowing that this was the only alignment published to the public. This alignment is still shown as of today. When I put this PowerPoint together, it was 2/20, February 20th, as of today. And this is published, you can look it up, on the Fort Bend Economic Council and the Fort Bend Chamber of Commerce website. So, again, I got this map in here so we can stay together with this. So the green is good. The green is a George alignment. The purple is the Signorelli alignment. You can see it is 1,200 feet, about a quarter of a mile away from our subdivision. The George Foundation alignment is 1.5 miles, 7,700 something feet. You can do the math and figure that out. About 1.5 miles. Now, this is what is shown at the Chamber of Commerce website. So if you look at it, you're like, oh, Jesse, I can't see that very well. All right, so let me help you out. This is it. That was it right there. I just zoomed in for you. Let me zoom back out. Here it says Master Plan Community. A nice fat green dot. Hey, they got a nice fat green dot on us. We're a Master Plan Community. Okay? And look at their map as of today. Chamber of Commerce. This is the George alignment. How is it that they still have this on their map? Y'all know the Chamber of Commerce? You know what they do? If people are trying to move in to our neck of the woods over here, and you're educated, you've got a lot of money, the first thing you go is to the Chamber of Commerce website. You go to the Economic Council website, and you find out the demographics of all the people who are living in your area, what they do for a living, how much money they spend, where can I go shopping, do they have a Starbucks where I'm going to be going by? All of these things. Well, if you're getting your data, if you're getting your information from these two websites that are money websites, their job is to supply you with data. This is the data that they have as of today. They're not telling you Signorelli's alignment because it doesn't exist. This is the Chamber of Commerce, Chamber of Economic Council. Real nice, look at that. They're showing you the Fort Bend Toll Road. They've got it labeled out here. This is the way it's coming. This is over, it's crossing the river, coming through Thompson's. Over here is Sun Ranch. There's a nice big coal deposit for the parish plant. And guess what? Nice and connector here, which is the George alignment. There we are. Do you see a Signorelli alignment anywhere there? No. this is the map they're using today, the Economic Council. And they go pretty good. They go into pretty good depth. And I like the way the Fort Bend Toll Road Authority is saying Segment C, keeping it with the Grand Parkway Segment C. That's pretty good. I like that they're keeping these segments together and not being confusing. So here it is coming from the river again, a little closer view. Again, this is not my map. This is not the toll roads map. This is the map of the Fort Bend Economic Council. Grand Parkway, Bridlewood, coming through Bridlewood, they show it again. They don't stop showing it. That's 762, the nice big curve. This is, we're kind of over here in this little area right now, but this again is a George preferred alignment. And I zoomed in very close so you can see that this alignment is the same alignment that is on the map. The only alignment that is in what we can see here is 1.5 miles away. This is Brazos Lakes right down here. Okay? So, let me play you all a quick video that shows the toll road project.
Did you notice at the end of the show, he called the Grand Parkway Segment C alignment a cartoon? He is intending to redo the Grand Parkway Segment C. He's planning on redoing the Grand Parkway Segment C at additional cost that was settled years ago to make it match his vision for the Fort Bend Toll Road. And he will gain $500 million with that intersection being on his property.
All right. So if you go to the Fort Bend Toll Road website, you're going to see these capital improvement plans, which is their projects. You look at project number 1028, it's about budgeted at $25 million. And if you look at the length of it, I think it's around 2 miles long, something in that vicinity. Is that right?
Yeah, this gets the lowest mile.
I'll just say 2 miles in it. So if you look at it, $25 million, that's about $12 million roughly a mile. Can we get that figure in there, right? About $12 million a mile for that little piece of red that you see right there. Okay? So keep an eye on that. And this seems like this is taking a long time because you want some narration behind it. But I want to really emphasize some of the things that you can see yourself anytime on this capital improvement plan project list, which is a project map on the Fort Bend Toll Road. So now we're going to see the levee that you just saw, to 2759, they're going to cross the river. Okay, eventually they got to come this way, right? And if I may, from what I gleaned in the last 2 weeks ago, a Monday meeting, that this is going to be basically a 6-mile stretch of elevated road with no on and off ramps. It's going to be like the Atchafalaya Bridge number 2. If y'all are familiar with going to Louisiana. And of course, it's going to cross the river, so that's kind of what it's got to be. I mean, you can't be having off and off on ramps. But what I'm going to show you here is that this is $154 million. If you're going to do the 6 miles that it's going to be, roughly, that's going to come out to around $25 to $27 million a mile, right? Versus 12. Double, if not a little bit more. I think I'm on the low ball estimate of that. Is that right? I'm a little
Yeah,
bit.
150 is about right across the road.
Okay. So per mile, that's what I'm looking at.
Yeah,
Roughly.
it's all bridge.
Okay,
So it's
roughly.
right.
So that piece right there, the Thompson's 27, 59, which brings it to our side. Okay? And I want to throw a little number your way. 65 to 69 feet of elevation. That means above sea level. Keep that number in your mind. Okay? Under 70, but above 60. Somewhere in there. Okay? So now we're going to talk about 2759 to Highway 36, $5 million. I'm going to keep this and we'll stop it right here. I understand they have not started a study to get from our side of the river all the way to 36. They've allocated $5 million for this engineering study to start. Notice there's no map. If Signorelli's map was a done deal, you would see this right now, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you see something that's going to 36 right now? You should see something, but you don't, okay? Because to me, a road company should be all about maps. Let us see kind of a spaghetti model. That's what the Grand Parkway does. They have all these spaghetti models. They have great public meetings, and you whittle them down, little at a time. This is no good, this was no good. Then eventually you get to a couple that are good. Now there's going to be one Sienna Ranch that's completed, and we can look at that number and talk about the mileage there also. So you can see that that's around $45 million, and I believe that runs about 275. So again, $44 million, you're looking at roughly, what is that? $15 million a mile. Okay? This road is on the ground. An elevated road is between $26 and $27 million a mile. Okay? Keep that number. Keep that number. And I think that's all I have to show there, so I'm going to stop that.
At the Fort Bend Toll Road board meeting, Jesse and I, building costs were skyrocketing. The engineers detailed their list of problems to avoid that would increase the budget. The engine.
Anna, you want?
Oh, right. These are the things that you avoid. Lower elevations that require a buildup. Building in a flood zone. Elevated roads. Long expansions of elevated roads. Purchasing the right-of-way and having to navigate around or move existing structures. The Signorelli alignment checks all of the negative boxes. A 3 to 4 meter drop in elevation from the George alignment. A flood zone at Brazos Lake's Dutch John Creek. Elevated and elongated road over FM 762 and Dutch John Creek. No donated right-of-way. An existing buried water source for all of Richmond-Rosenberg.
So, I think the comical thing and the funny thing about this is when we were at the meeting of the Fort Bend Toll Road Authority, when we were there, we were sitting around looking around just like you guys are, and lo and behold, there's a map on their wall. And if you look at the map and you look at what's going on in this area, there's their segment C. Oh, where that little 762 is, that happens to be where Brazos Lakes is. And guess what? The Toll Road Authority has this on their wall to look at so they can discuss as they're having coffee and doing whatever they do. This is the original George alignment. You zoom that in for you, right? There it is. Fort Bend Toll Road Authority future, this is what they're showing. If you ask me, if your tax dollars are at work and they're saying, hey, this is already a done deal, shouldn't the Signorelli alignment be shown there? Like I said, Signorelli alignment doesn't exist. It exists on a developer's map. It is being pushed online by the county commissioners for you to believe that this is the route. This is at their headquarters. Now maybe tomorrow they're going to change it. Maybe not. So, now I don't get to talk for a while. I'm going to show you guys.
So here's our vote no Austin Point. And here's our map. And I'll pause it here to look at it. So this is an overhead view. You can see Houston there in the middle. And the yellow line it has a little fork. That is the extension we're talking about. But for right now, let's have a look at the Fort Bend Toll Road where it starts. And I have put some dimensional lines to show you the width at Highway 6, or let me go back, at Beltway 8, and at Highway 6, and then right before it crosses the river, so you can see the actual footprint, the actual width of the toll road. So here we are on 90, where the toll road starts, and we're looking south, as you can see there. So we're going to come into the very, I guess the first toll booth, and again, it's all, there's no cash. This is a toll booth here. You just drive through it, electronically knows that you've gone through. And here comes a double-decker, which is a Sam Houston Toll Road, which is Beltway 8. And you can see the toll road goes over the top of it. So this is something that we're very concerned about. This could happen at our intersection. We definitely don't want that to be 1,200 feet, a quarter of a mile away from our subdivision. And now you can see the yellow line. That yellow line I have put there, and you'll see on the side, bottom left, it's going to give you the dimension. And that dimension is about 600 feet for their right-of-way. So the overpass right-of-way measurement is pretty close to 600 feet. That is a Google measuring tool that I use for this. So here again, we are doing our flyover, and you can see there's some residential. And of course, these people knew the road was coming because the Fort Bend Toll Road had already bought this property. So here they've cut through some forest that's out there, and again, these aren't shrubs that you're looking at. There's a toll booth. These are actual trees, so we're elevated pretty high. And now comes, I believe, this is Highway 6. And again, this, maybe that's not Highway 6, McCarter Road. But I want you to look at that overpass and notice all the dirt that's built up around it. This dirt is, we'll talk about that in a minute again, 432 feet, sorry, is the width here on the right of way. So again, that's about 400, almost 450 feet. But look at that dirt that's built up there. So now it does kind of go back to ground level, but it's really not ground level. This is basically one huge dam. And I'm not here discussing about water flow. I'm discussing about how big this thing could possibly get. Again, there, good view of this, in quotation marks, an earthen dam. That is a very raised up area of dirt. And this is showing 400 feet. The other one's 430, this one's about 400 feet. And again, that's just a rough estimate. I really don't know how far to the left and right that footprint is, but that's pretty close. And as you can see, another overpass and a nice big curve to the toll road. There's another overpass, and this is all elevated road. And again, we sure don't want anything like this a quarter of a mile from our subdivision, when this could be a mile and a half from our subdivision. So I'm sure some of the toll road has already been built here. This is Google Earth. It's probably 3 months behind, something like that. Now we're coming to the end of the Fort Bend Toll Road and where they're at, I guess a couple of months ago. But you can see the intended route as to where it's going to go. Again, all this has already been purchased, I'm sure. They already have it kind of laid out. You can see that green belt they're going to have to go through. And some homes. And there's my yellow line. This is the best I could do to show you a possibility of them crossing the Brazos River. And from what I have been, the information I have is this is going to be a 6-mile crossing where there's no on and off ramps. So that is what is being engineered. And now we're coming up to Sun Ranch on the right. And you can see the big dark black area there at Smithers Lake. This is the W.A. Parish plant where we get our electricity. And that's a big reservoir of coal that's there. So we've never had a problem with the cold because most of the time this wind blows southeast. But there's Brazos Lake's upper left, and a straight line is a Signorelli Austin Point alternative alignment. So you can see it comes very close to our subdivision, about a quarter of a mile. It's actually 1,200 feet, so it's closer. And you can see our entrance, and you can see there, right there, where they're going to be crossing 762 with this. This is only 300 feet of a area that I'm showing here in the double yellow lines. So that's only 300 feet. You saw before it could be 500, maybe even 600 feet. And I'm zooming in here because obviously this is a wooded, those are 100-year-old oak trees right there. They would have to tear up or elevate it. And this is our back creek that goes through the back of our subdivision, or the northern part of our subdivision. Those are our two 50-acre lakes that we have and enjoy. And in the foreground is Dutch John Creek. Again, you see the nice green there in the foreground that I'm zooming into. All that greenery are 100-year-old oak trees, if not older. They will have to go over, making an overpass again. And we probably could see an earthen, like I say, an earthen dam to raise that instead of putting pylons in the ground. And so we can see this is Brazos Lakes, that's our creek. Here it's pretty much in the summertime, it's pretty dry. There's normally water flowing through it. And in the distance, in the south part right there, there is a Indian temple, a Nepalese temple that Austin Point will have to take into account. And this is the George Ranch Preferred Alignment. This curve here of 762 is where the Grand Parkway will be crossing to connect to the Grand Parkway. So the Fort Bend Parkway is the one in yellow, and that is 1.5 miles away, 7,750 plus feet, which turns into 1.5 miles when you do the math. Now that you can very well see how far away the George Preferred Alignment is that we favor versus this alignment from Signorelli, Austin Point, which is 1,200 feet away. So you see the raised area of the Grand Parkway that is now being driven on, and we definitely do not want this in any close proximity to us at all. Thank you very much for your time.
All the property taxes, encouraging commercial growth. But if the county loses $600 million from the intersection moving off the George Foundation to Austin Point, the money that would go into a trust, and the only beneficiaries are the residents of Fort Bend County, that money moves into the builder's pocket. If we have a $600 million loss with the $500 million with the intersection and a $100 million loss in the right-of-way that the George Foundation donated, if the route stayed on their land, the taxpayers will take generations and generations to recoup that loss.
All right, so Ann had said earlier, are we good? Yeah. Ann said earlier something about checking all the boxes.
So, you know, what the Fort Bend Toll Road Authority tries to avoid all of these boxes that they have to check to avoid, the Signorelli route checks those boxes, okay? building in a flood zone, lower elevations, elevated roads, long expansion of elevated roads, having to purchase right-of-way, and having to navigate around or moving structures. Again, there is a water pipe we're going to talk about here in a little bit. We have some more to go through. So again, we just saw the flyover. Hopefully you are now a pro at looking at this map and knowing where we want this, where it should be, where everything shows that it has been all the good versus all the bad so far. So this alternative alignment is 1,200 feet away from Brazos Lakes. The entrance to our community could be under an off-ramp. This alternative alignment would be built in an environmentally sensitive forested area, Dutch John Creek, that is 12 feet lower in elevation. And I'm being conservative with that amount. You're going to see something here in a minute. Then the elevation George Foundation alignment, putting Brazos Lakes at risk for flooding. This alternative alignment could also endanger the freshwater supply to Richmond-Rosenberg. The 24-inch PVC freshwater pipe with 90-degree elbows at this location will be subject to repeated road and environmental stresses every day. And it is buried only under 4 feet underground. We've seen the damage repeated droughts, cracks in the soil can do. Now a highway will be laid on top of that. More damage. What I want to point out is this. When you talk about 4 feet worth of dirt, okay, this is 4 feet worth of dirt right here on top of a 2-foot pipe. Like that trash can lid, I made it myself. Okay? So this is coming up here in a minute, but I want you to see this, and if you're asking yourself, what is this? Nice piece of acrylic, got 4 feet worth of dirt there. I left that open on the top so you can kind of see that this isn't just a poster, it's actually a pretty good model, if you ask me. All right, so now we're going to look at a topographic map. The lay of the land. So, first we're going to look at the Fort Bend Toll Road, which is here and where it stops. You're going to see the river come through. I'm just kind of giving you a look so we can get familiar with how this works. And every time I have to zoom out or zoom in, it's going to render itself, which means it's got to go back to original. There's a pretty good legend here on the side that shows this green. I want you to focus on the lower part of the green, blue, and then the upper part where it's the light green into yellow. This will be a higher elevation. This will be a lower elevation. Okay? So now we're 2759. We're moving down. This is Smithers Lake popping up. And I'm just kind of showing you. Sometimes it renders a little bit funky, but most of the time it does its job the way it should. Again, I just made a quick movie of this. This is Brazos Lakes here. This is Highway 762. This is where Signorelli wants to put his road, is in this area. And here we are 1.5 miles away. Okay, this is the George alignment. Can you see that? That is 78 feet in elevation. Now I'm just going to be clicking around. I'm not clicking around right now. I already made this movie. But you can see that I'm basically showing you random places. What do we have here? 69 feet. You do the math. I'm just clicking and clicking. Again, 69 feet. This is the Signorelli alignment area. Again, 66 feet. Now, yeah, I could click in some of the blues to exaggerate, but I'm not. 77 feet. Oh, there's a nice one, 83 feet in elevation. There's a nice one over here, 75 feet. What you're noticing is I'm clicking along the route of the George alignment. Look how elevated it all is. 75 feet. 76 feet. Now, 69 feet in the area again. I'm just clicking. This isn't a movie repeating itself. 66 feet. 69 feet at the area they want to build the Signorelli alignment. So remember I said, remember the elevation under 70, but above 60. You're going to see the river's alignment, or I'm sorry, elevation, is going to be roughly this elevation here. So if they have to make an elevated highway because of the river, I know it's because of its flooding and this and that, but that elevation is in between 60 and 70. Well, isn't that elevation between 60 and 70 at the Signorelli alignment? It definitely is. So one of the constraints that they talk about, they don't want to build in a flood zone. Well, if the Brazos River is a flood zone, and that number is between 65 and 69 that you're getting ready to see, then why are they going to build Signorelli's? Why are they even thinking about Signorelli's alignment if it is in a flood zone? Okay?
What's not hard to do, flood zone?
So again, 70 feet here we go, we're going to start moving out. Sorry, I was just kind of, my finger wandered and went onto Austin Point's footprint there. But we're going to get to the river here in a second. All right. So now we're moving out. We're going to move out. Again, this is Brazos Lakes here. So now we're at 75 feet. This is a pretty good part. Now we're at 69 feet. There it is. Now we're at 2759, 66 feet. 66 feet. We'll get there in a second. Now we're by the river. What does that show? 65 feet. And I'm not down in the river. I'm not going to give you a false information. Okay? So it's going to stay here so you can see. Now, this is 60 feet. This is a pretty much swampy area. There's the Fort Bend Toll Road up there coming through. But if you're clicking, there's 69 feet. They're going to make this bridge. They're going to make this elevated roadway to cross the river. And Signorelli's, I'm sorry, that's the George Foundation, 79 feet. And that's it. So, proving to you that just using a topographic map app that is available online will show you that Signorelli's alignment is basically just, or needing to be built.
Or here, we could ask them why this particular route they're pursuing is so important. But as you notice, these chairs are empty. They were all hand-given an invitation and asked numerous times to show up. They have no money, just like the federal government has no money. They have our tax money, our money. And if they're going to spend it, we should have a voice in how it is spent. They are the stewards of our money.
All right. So now we're going to talk about, that was our impact showing you for Brazos Lakes. So that road and all its constraints it should have, the way it's going to be possibly built, all of this having a negative effect on us. Not just the close proximity, but obviously a raised road is going to cost a whole lot of money, or a road that has been made as an earthen dam, where all this water is going to be possibly flooding out our subdivisions. Okay? So now we're going to talk about the pipe. All right? This pipe right here that is buried 4 feet underground. Okay? I want to make sure you guys get this visual and get the visual good. So the Brazos Water Authority, some of you are here because you're concerned about your fresh water supply. This is PVC piping. This is a plastic pipe. Now, I am not a expert on what pipe should be, but I was in oil and gas for 25 years, and I know a good solid metal pipe is always good. A plastic pipe is always going to have problems. But hey, this is what we have, and it's called a fusible PVC pipe, and this is what is supplying Rosenberg up to 5.7 million gallons of potable water a day. Okay? So again, $5.7 million gallons of water a day is the contract that was signed, and starting in 2018, Rosenberg started receiving all this fresh water. This is their only fresh water supply. This is where all your water comes from, okay? You didn't know that. Again, this is on the Rosenberg website. This tells you what is there, the mix of water, what they're doing in there to clean it. And as of right now, 3 million gallons per day is what is your need for today. But they have up to 5.7 million gallons that can be pumped through this pipe. So what is this? This is a layout of the pipe that brings fresh water to Rosenberg. I like to say Richmond, Rosenberg, and I may say it again and again, so excuse me for that. But I'm leaving this part up here to show you that this gold part is a 24-inch pipe. And we know what 24-inch pipe is. It is this trash can lid right in front of you. That is 2 feet across, okay? Make sure you get that visual, right? And this is where we are at. This is Lake Worthington. This is Smithers Lake. We are right here. Ah, we can't see that. Yes, you can now. So, we're here. This freshwater pipe goes along the southern part of 762. It takes a 90-degree turn and goes under 762, and then continues in a straight line all the way to Richmond Rosenberg. You'll notice there's a little jog right here. Again, I'm not exaggerating the truth. All I'm giving you is facts that you can find online if you dig hard enough. The George preferred alignment is way out here, that intersection. Doesn't even come close to this pipe. The Signorelli has to cross it at an elbow. Now, I see a lot of guys in here. You know about plumbing. You know about piping. You know an elbow is always going to be the what link? The weakest link. You cannot get away from that. Sorry. At the weakest link, they're going to put this road. It's going to cross over. I've already kind of alluded to that for you to kind of keep your eye about what's going to happen here. So this is the fusible PVC pipe being installed, segment 5. Now, this 4-foot depth is the only requirement in Texas. That's as deep as you need to go. If you look at what they're doing here, this crane is dropping this pipe down in this dugout trench. He's level. He's not under anywhere. He's level. And those of you guys who know construction and everything, I could be down in here and I could probably put my elbows up on top there. That's about 4 feet deep. Giving you, that's their picture, not mine. This is what is in front of our subdivision in our area. This is an access to the weakest link. What's the weakest link called? Elbow. Okay? This tells you this is a water pipe. So this is an access. Why would you need an access to a buried elbow? Because, yeah, that's where you're going to have a problem in the future. Think about putting this road on top of that. Those of you that like to drink fresh water in Rosenberg. Okay? You want me to show you where the proximity is? This took me a while, this picture. So the Signorelli alignment is located in close proximity to Highway 762 elbows that allow this pipe to cross under 762. No vent, no protector pipe. Elbows are the weakest link. If you can see where this is just basically a cover. It's not waterproof by any means. This is our subdivision here in the distance. Okay? Thank you, iPhone, for making me able to do that and stretch that picture. You ever taken those pictures where your feet are real long, right? And doing that? That's kind of what I did there. But it's not a trickery. It's to show you quarter of a mile away, this is where these connector pipes are. This is a danger. This is a compromise to your water, putting this road on top of it. You should be gravely concerned that they're even thinking about a possible road being put in this area, Richmond Rosenberg. What do we have here? This is the big curve. This is where the Grand Parkway and the George alignment is going to cross. And what do we have here? This pipe, this is the same pipe, freshwater pipe, is double walled as shown in the photo. The protruding pipe that you see, this pipe is protruding, is an air vent pipe. Is to vent air between water and a cover pipe. So the pipe that goes under 762 right here actually has another pipe that covers it for protection. This pipe that is coming out of the concrete here is to vent any possible pressure that could happen between the outer wall pipe and the inner wall freshwater pipe. There's no cover pipe at all at the elbows that are down over there where the Signorelli alignment is trying to go. So again, this, and I should have gotten a picture of it, this thing's about 4 feet tall in concrete, okay, for this protector pipe that is a double wall pipe basically coming through here. And if you look, this is our big curve. And about this area here is where the George alignment would be. I'm sorry, the toll road, George alignment would connect onto the Grand Parkway. All right? So now we're going to show you a little video. Let's see if it'll play.
It's unfortunate,
Don't listen to her.
what you see when you buy a house, it doesn't always stay that way. They obviously had no idea this was not their expectations. It's unfortunate, what you see when you buy a house, it doesn't always stay.
The reason I got this off of YouTube, and those poor people, of course, they're not poor people because they bought knowing that the toll road was going there, and that is not the reason I have this. The reason I have this is this is going to be elevated. Look at the span of those right there. Yeah, they might be able to span it a little more, but this road and the way it's spanned does not take into consideration where a pipe is buried. I don't know how deep those go, but these guys are pretty deep in the ground, so they don't move. And I guarantee you one thing, they're deeper than 4 feet to hold up this road. And guys, we know the stresses of a road, the drought conditions we have, our constant shifting in our soil, swelling, the contracting on a daily basis. So I'm showing you that so you can see what could be buried. And yes. And just to show you the differences on these, you've already seen the San Houston Tollway, the Fort Bend Toll Road. Look at the span of those. So maybe they could span 762, unless they double decker it. Who knows? I have no idea. Maybe we would get lucky and the pipe would be over here. But these guys are going to be deep. They're going to have to take into consideration the close proximity that this freshwater pipe could pose on the development of this road. If you put it at the George Foundation alignment, you do not have to worry about compromising the freshwater supply of Richland Rosa Road. Go ahead.
The southern border of Austin Point is called Big Creek, and it flows near the state park into the Brazos. There is only one monitoring station there for E. coli and bacteria. And we are trying to get a second station put in because there is also a landfill a mile away from the back corner of Austin Point. And with 14,000 homes, pets, all the construction, there will be a lot of surface water damage going into Big Creek. They will have a water filtering system, but all of that goes into Big Creek, and we want to make sure that the creek is not polluted.
All right, so there's our little 4-foot corner right there. And for those of you who don't play golf, that's my putting green on the wall. It comes down. So, again, to familiarize yourself with the map and what we just saw, the elbows are here. The double wall pipe is here. You can obviously see that the George alignment does not put freshwater supply of Rosenberg endangered. It does not compromise it. Signorelli's does. There is no way to get around this. This is the truth. So here's a letter, the Department of Transportation, in January 26th to the Honorable Grady Prestige. And it's talking about them needing to reroute and realign these changes that are basically in concrete to the Grand Parkway in 2013. They're talking about you need to do this and you need to do that, which is a great thing. But some of the things they're saying here, we don't agree with. So the project team shall schedule and facilitate a meeting with affected property owners, Austin Point, and the George Foundation. We demand that we, Brazos Lakes, be included in any decisions that are being made on the toll road. It's not just two people who are affected here. We are the biggest landowners here. The project team shall provide a summary report, stakeholder documenting landowner comments and the project team's responses. Our comments should definitely be heard. As the alignment change only affects two property owners, a public meeting would not be necessary. This could not be any further from the truth. We, Brazos Lakes, Richmond Rosenberg, need to be in these discussions, not just two landowners. The project team will prepare a community impacts analysis. Why? You just said there's only two entities involved. Why do you need to worry about the community? It's because these are the things that are required to make a road. Okay? Signorelli can't just come into town. He's from the wood. He doesn't even live here. He can't fly into town and just start dictating and giving money away and everybody's falling in line. These things have to be addressed for any road that is made here. Okay? Air quality analysis. Air quality for who? We're the only subdivision out here. So that means we should be included in every decision that is being made with this road. Noise analysis. If you build it, no one will hear it. I mean, we're the ones that are out here going to hear. Why do you have to have a noise analysis? Like I said, guys, the map that you continually see, this is a developer's map. This is a figment of somebody's imagination. The county commissioners and Danny Signorelli, he called all the people that worked on this road cartoon characters. You know, when he said it, he's like, this, that, all this, the Grand Parkway, all the work that people have put in the past doesn't amount to anything. I'm in town and I'm changing everything. You can't. All these things have to be addressed. Okay? Impacts, again, all these have a reevaluation form that must be done and a reevaluation checklist. Again, identify any additional impacts not included in the ROD caused by the alignment shift of the Grand Parkway Segment C. There is going to be an alignment shift. Or is there? They're pointing this right to you. This is what you have to do, Grady Prestige. You can't just sit there and say, it's going to be done and it gets done. It can't. So now we're going to talk, that was basically the pipe. Now we're going to talk about the money. So the fight, this is the Houston Chronicle. Some of you have already read this. The fight is erupted over where to put a Grand Parkway intersection. Millions of dollars are at stake. What the George Foundation officials envision, however, is a project that will take much longer to sprout, but could become far larger and more profitable for county residents. It would also pour tens of millions of dollars into the charity's bank account that eventually would be used to reduce homelessness, award scholarships for hundreds of college-bound and nursing students, provide materials for disaster relief, invest in local public health programs. We are looking at this as an opportunity to do something substantial, said Mr. Adamson, CEO of the foundation, who owns thousands of acres of farmland north of 762. Something that will set the course of this area and the county. If you guys don't know what the Adamson family does, they're one of the largest benefactors here. They give away money for scholarships, charities, homeless people. They're building things to serve the needy. But they don't just give that money out of their back pocket. They have to have something there that's generating some funds. okay? This toll road intersection that you're getting ready to see is worth $500 million, okay? And the George Foundation is going to use that to fund their charities. Danny Signorelli wants this intersection in Austin Point for his benefit. Have you ever heard of a developer giving away money to a charity? I don't think so. That money is going to be null and void to Fort Bend County, okay? Many of us in this room have been touched by the George Foundation's generosity. I know I have. I'm a teacher at this school. They donated that land for that school to be there, okay? I thank them all the time. That's awesome that they donated that land, but that so close to my house. What a nice 3-minute drive I have to work. In the interim, county officials have remained tight-lipped, declining any comment on the matter. County Judge K.P. George, through a spokesman, referred questions to the county engineer's office and toll road authority, neither of which would identify why Fort Bend favors Signorelli's route, outside of it being a political decision made by Commissioner's Court. What political decision? They're throwing all these excuses. I don't understand how this could be a political decision. Precinct 2, the County Commissioner Grady Prestige, we are in Precinct 2 now, if you did not know. That real nice shell game they did brought us Grady Prestige. Nobody here has ever voted for him. He just slid into town. We were Precinct 1, if you remember. We were Morrison, now it was Morales. Precinct 1, everybody got shifted. Did not respond for request for comment. Precinct 1, Vincent Morales, whose precinct included the area south of Sugarland until the 4 districts were redrawn last November. Again, declined comment. The lack of thorough and open discussion has alarmed some, namely supporters of the Foundation's goal. Now, this is not me, this is Doug Begley for the Chronicle writing this article. Okay? The eventual crossing already has benefited the re-election campaigns of county officials through, though only a fraction of their fundraising totals that they've told you about. Since early 2019, Danny Signorelli has donated $23,000 to Morales. He's donated $12,500 to Prestige over the last year, $7,500 of it since September, a few months, prior to the site moving into his precinct. Meanwhile, K.P. George received $2,500 September 10th for his re-election bid. Now they're saying, this is only 2% of their money. Wow, they sold out cheap, didn't they? Yeah, but do you really believe that? I'm just saying it from what I hear. Grady Prestige is so ready because who's going to get the contracts to move the dirt? Who's going to get the contracts to lay the concrete, the rebar, all the things that come in there? I'm sure companies he's associated with. Wow, amazing. So, we got a little bit about Mr. Addison. This is news to Houston.
Philanthropy should outlive us all. For 80 years, the foundation has provided for the needy and the underprivileged in Fort Bend County, donating $300 million to date. In 2023, the foundation donated $19 million, spread out over 103 local organizations. When the less fortunate are served, all of Fort Bend County reap the rewards.
PRC2. This is Houston Newsmakers with Canbrell Marshall. We start this morning with a bird's eye view of the George Ranch in Fort Bend County. This almost 22,000 acre area is just part of the portfolio of the George Foundation, which has been in existence for 77 years. Its mission has been to positively impact Fort Bend County and its residents, and the grants and scholarships they've given total close to $280 million. And now the George Foundation has found itself at odds with the Fort Bend County Commissioner's Court because of its decisions regarding the future path of the planned latest segment of the Grand Parkway. Roger Adamson is the CEO of the George Foundation and joins me now. Good morning, George. What is your concern? The main concern. By the way, good to see you.
Yeah, good morning, Canberra. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
So our concern is really threefold. I would say first, the George Foundation has spent 25 years planning for a segment C of the Grand Parkway. And the route of the Grand Parkway was memorialized in the 2013 record of decision from the Federal Highway Commission. So with that environmental approval of the alignment, we've been working toward that for 25 years. The second piece that was of concern to us is that the foundation, we had offered over 14 miles of right-of-way, free of charge, no cost to the taxpayers, no cost to Fort Bend County. And Fort Bend County never acknowledged, never responded, zero communication over really an 18-month period with the foundation's offer for that.
Was that offer contingent upon anything? Was it contingent upon a certain route?
Correct. It was contingent upon the record of decision alignment that I mentioned before, and then the alignment of the Fort Bend Parkway, which would have the key intersection of those two roads located on foundation property, which creates a tremendous amount of value to support our charitable mission. And our real estate assets are really important to the foundation because we have an investment portfolio of stocks, bonds, but also real estate assets that account for about 40% of our asset base that we use to fund our charitable mission. And so this tremendous amount of value will allow us to monetize our real estate assets to support our charitable mission.
So I got a map. This is a star map. It kind of shows some of the proposed areas we're talking about. This is area, and where those areas cross is where the Fort Bend Tollway and the Grand Parkway. Grand Parkway comes from the north in this map, and that crossing is kind of where it's in the George Ranch property in that area there.
Correct. Yes, sir. Correct.
And so now there's a different scenario.
Yeah, there is.
That the Fort Bend commissioners have decided to do another map with that as well, which shows, if we can pull that up, it shows a different scenario where the crossing of those is now down outside of your foundation area and into the area where developers got property there.
Correct. So we have no response to the offer for the 14 miles of free right-of-way. The next thing we know, again with zero communication, was that an agreement was reached which essentially abandons the 2013 record of decision alignment for the Grand Parkway and the environmental clearance. It transfers the key intersection from the George Foundation property to the adjacent property. And we've done some estimates on this in terms of the value of that, and a future value of about $500 million, and that's billion with a B. And so that's our primary concern. For the three concerns is this tremendous transfer of value, really a complete 180 with no communication.
So, what that does is the value you're talking about is your property, which increases in value, which is what makes up a part of your portfolio, which lets you then contribute back to the community, because that's what you do, you contribute to communities.
Correct. Yes, sir.
So, what are you hearing from the Fort Bend County Commissioners about any of this?
Absolutely nothing.
So other than your opportunity to make presentation to Commissioners Court, did they ask questions then, or they just accepted your presentation? They feedback about moving it at all?
So not at all, Cameron. I mean, the only opportunity that I had was in public comments prior to the hearing to change the major thoroughfare plan, and there were not a single word spoken or a single question asked during those hearings, and so. And also, if I can say, as a charitable trust, as a private foundation, we're prohibited from lobbying, and so we obviously adhere to those guidelines. So it's really restrict our ability to communicate with Commissioners Court, but we also know that they're well aware of the offer for the free ride-of-way.
So just so people know, I did reach out to Commissioners Court to get some feedback, and I got the same response you got, which was no comment. They did give me some other people to talk to. I haven't heard back from them. I did see the county engineering office did make a formal recommendation to the commissioner's court, and that had some movement. I don't know if this was specific to your issues or not, but I have the letter here. But they said that, and I quote, to adjust the roadway alignment and relocate the intersection of the proposed toll roads approximately 1 mile south of the current location. Now, was that the movement, or was that something separate? Was that a separate movement?
I believe that is the movement, and again, that's where the agreement to abandon that 2013 record decision did move the alignment of the Grand Parkway south of George Foundation owned property.
So we got more to talk about. I want to continue this conversation on Newsmakers Extra because in addition to what the Commissioner's Court has not said, I know that they had asked some sort of if-you groups.
All right, so that is straight from Roger Adamson. He gave you a price. Here we go.
So the George Foundation would donate this land right of way to the Fort Bend Toll Road Authority free of charge to keep this only published, studied, vetted map with this alignment. So what does that mean? That means in order to keep the green route that we've been talking about, the green route on the maps that you see, the George Foundation is donating all of this right of way free of charge to keep this road at the George alignment, the George preferred alignment. Signorelli's, you've got to buy this property now. And that's at today's cost of upwards of $100 million. So why would you put a road that you've got to pay money for when you can put a road with all of the pluses that we have been slowly given to you today, and save this money? This money's not going to be, you're going to have to be taxed eventually. You're going to have to pay for this. So the Grand Parkway Fort Bend Toll Road intersection would generate $500 million, $500 million that the George Foundation would use in charitable contributions to Fort Bend County and scholarships, charities that they have done so many times in the past. And again, that was this is KD News. The realignment would cost over $100 million to purchase the right of way to build this road, and a new environmental impact study and a new record of decision will need to be completed. Who will pay for this? You will pay for this. The proposed intersection, which lies in Austin Point, would rob all of Fort Bend County of over $500 million in lost scholarships and charitable contributions. Again, I've said this earlier today. When was the last time you heard a developer giving away money? This proposed alignment favors only one developer. That is it. There's the George Foundation. That's the KD News. A couple of recipients for some grants here recently. And guys, this continues over and over and over and over again. It has for the past 50 plus years. We've been here 23 years. This is a name we always hear about, especially me being a teacher. We're always hearing about these grants and scholarships that the George Foundation funds through their charitable giving. And like you said before, they're a charity. They can't lobby for themselves. He can't be here. He can't go toe-to-toe with Austin Point, legally or in the public, because they're a charity. Okay? He cannot lobby for himself that way. So, a real quick little flyover. I think a lot of people saw this one.
This is an aerial view of the Fort Bend Toll Road original George Foundation alignment, along with the proposed alternate alignment of the Signorelli Development Corporation, Austin Point. This new alternative alignment is 1,200 feet, as you can see in the straight line, from Brazos Lakes, which brings it way too close to our subdivision. The curved in the foreground is the George Foundation preferred alignment, which is 1.5 miles away from Brazos Lakes.
Got a lot of views on that one. I didn't know what a reel was until I got on Facebook, right? So Fort Bend County's authority to build the parkway, however, is limited to the project presented by the larger Grand Parkway efforts. It has far more authority over where to run the Fort Bend Toll Road extension. Changing the plans for the Grand Parkway in all likelihood would require a new environmental analysis which only can start with TxDOT notifying the public of a reevaluation of its plan. TxDOT spokesman Raquel Lewis said officials are aware of the discussions of the Grand Parkway location in Fort Bend County, but have not initiated the process to reevaluate the route. Again, the Grand Parkway is the beast in our area. It dictates where things go because that is a studied route. It has a record of decision, an environmental impact study. Every check has been checked off on that road. You can't go back in there and just change it at the drop of a hat. You can't spend $80,000 and just get it rerouted, which is what Signorelli is trying to do. So we stand with the George Foundation Preferred Alignment, the original alignment, which does not impact our community. Here are our demands of officials on this matter. TxDOT says that two landowners, George Foundation and Austin Point, must come to a decision on the location of the Fort Bend Toll Road, and no one else is affected by the new alignment. Wrong. We are 249 landowners. We demand a seat at the table to be included in all discussions regarding any alignment decision. TxDOT and the Fort Bend Toll Road Authority must hear our voices. We have over $150 million in real estate value and pay more than $1.25 million in taxes every year. They take our money, we will be included. The Fort Bend Toll Road alignment must go back to the original George Foundation Preferred alignment and be recorded again as the only alignment with no future changes allowed. The Grand Parkway cannot be changed as the final record of decision the ROD was approved in 2013. We demand that the Fort Bend Toll Road ROD show that the George Foundation Preferred alignment with the two toll roads intersecting on George Foundation land 1.5 miles away from Brazos Lake be the preferred alignment on every map. So, real quick, this is where we live.
And we have some special guests that went out of their way to attend our meeting. Okay, I have to
Me and Ann go way back. I heard that.
Oh, I turned my mic on.
All right, so got a drone. This is the aerial view showing, and I'm going to show you the road here in a second. This is not a very long video. It was very windy that day, and I lost my drone. But I found it. It came back to me, and I was so scared. It did come back. You can see the parish plant in the foreground, and there's our tip right there. Here comes 762, and this is where the toll road would come. This general area right here. 1,200 feet away through these trees. Look how close that is. That's somebody's backyard right here. Quarter of a mile. Imagine a straight line I'm trying to follow to about right there. You can see definitely, we will definitely see this, hear this, smell this. 762 the other way. There's an Nepalese temple right here. This is Wailing Corner. There's one of our lakes. Named after my daughter. And the George Foundation's way the heck over there. So this is our back of our subdivision on our western corner. There's our front lane. No. Yes. No, that's our front lane. And for $20, I'll get an aerial view of your house. I got to recoup my investment. So, right around this open area is 1,200 feet away. Turn around, and it's going to be right about a little bit past this open area. It's 1,200 feet away from us. And now the drone's going to rise up so you can see the path and going to the parish plant where this is possibly going to be. So they're keeping it away this way, which is good, and that's going to the river.
back leg. And of course, they can't put it back there because all that is swampland, basically. Still at an elevation of 65 to 70 feet, though. All right, so there it is. And I'm going to stop it way in the distance over here would be where the George Foundation preferred alignment that we want is going to be out here, which will be shown in the next clip. Still got to go up though. I clicked the wrong moving hand. Just a little drawn out. No, I'm kidding. It should be going up right on here. There we go. So now you can definitely see Smithers Lake and the footprint is going to be somewhere in this area. Hopefully going that way and to the corner here of the George Foundation, not here, a quarter of a mile away. I don't remember this video being this long. So here is the corner of 762, and that's actually me and Ann right there. This is where the foundation, the preferred alignment is going to be, is back in this corner here. Just turn around and show you. There's our subdivision. There's a parish plant, and this is 1.5 miles away. And this is going to turn around again. It's going to show you the curve of 762. And roughly, as far as I can get with my drone and trying to triangulate feet before the upper level winds grabbed it and took it away. I mean, these drones are funny because, I don't know, sometimes you can handle the wind and sometimes you can't. Anyways, this is a spin around real quick. There's 762. There's Signorelli's Austin Point. And there is a good shot of the area where the intersection should be. There's where the pipe comes through, this freshwater pipe. You can definitely see that it's not in the area anywhere.
We could speak at Commissioner's Court 3 times a month. And you were allowed to speak for 3 minutes on any topic. Now, you can only speak, they only hold the meetings twice a month. And you are only allowed to speak on the items they're discussing on the agenda that day. And since the Commissioner's Court never bring up the toll road, the public gets to stay out of the picture. We've snuck in a couple of times, put our 2 cents in, and through that we got NPR News to help and interview us and put us on the page to be noticed, because they're only reaching out to 2 landowners, Austin Point and the George Foundation. And you can see that we really need to be included in the picture. We are affected landowners.
All right, so it looks like we got about 5 minutes, so we're going to shut this meeting down. Who's got some questions? Let me see if I can answer a question. Yes, sir, Mr. Jolie.
From what I can tell here, that our primary concern, the primary people that we need to be talking to is our commissioners. And one way to get the commissioners' attention is to vote their asses down. Excuse my expression, but that's what this is. It's just a vote down. And, you know, I've been in this area, I've been in Brazos Lake for 24 years. And I haven't seen my commissioner this year, since we changed commissioner. I haven't seen him. You're not gonna get anything changed, but you're gonna have to change the people that are leading it. So, I think Jesse and Frank did a great job, and we need to put some effort on our commissioners.
And that brings us back to our MO there. Vote no, Austin Point. Yeah, this is not something you're gonna vote for at the polls, but you can definitely take it to the man, right? And you can sit there and not vote for him, whether you're Republican or Democrat. You need to find out, you know, especially every county commissioner, every one of them, and KP George, okay? They all voted for the Signorelli alignment. So automatically, regardless of your affiliation, you need to email them. Let them know, hey, I'm a Republican. Hey, I'm a Democrat, and I'm not voting for you. You know, you have no public comment. You should always have a public comment. Number one, if you're, you know, a public official, number one. Number two, you are beholden to the people, your constituents in your precinct. You should be listening to them. Thank you, Jolie. Yes, sir.
Is there any elected official here or county official here, or like, are we all just residents, private residents, Brazos Lakes?
Cricket's chirping. They're all supposed to be sitting right there. So we have the Fort Bend Toll Road Authority, which are here. Mr. Stone, Mr. Thompson, thank you all for showing up. Anne's gonna address that.
Yes.
Hold on, Ann. Any more questions? Oh, we got one here. You know, you could have wrote a little bigger. So what is the 100-year flood elevation? I do not know. I know that we are not required in Brazos Lakes to hold any flood insurance. At least we don't. We have to be built to an elevation that has to do with the medallion that's in our road, that little round guy that's stamped into your road. You've got to be over a certain elevation on that, regardless if you're in the creek or you're by one of our lakes. But that, us being in a 100-year floodplain, they have redrawn the maps, and that's information that you would need to go out and look at. We're talking about this road possibly flooding us, but that's not our point. Our point is to be heard. Our point is to be taken into consideration every time this road comes up to a vote, a meeting, or something is redone with the Toll Road Authority or with the Grand Parkway, Toll Road, the Grand Parkway. For us to be a landowner, just like Signorelli and just like George Ranch, Brazos Lake should be there as some public comments, things like that. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I don't live in Brazos Lakes. I live on Google's Road. One of the proposed alignments crosses our property. But I did not know about the water going into Rosenberg. I remember when they put the water in. We've lived here for a little over 30 years. I think you ought to reach out to the citizens of Rosenberg and let them know that their water supply is in danger. And let them speak up and start a petition to keep the original route. That way you can gain a lot more support and more names, and then maybe the county commissioners will start listening. Because really, honestly, I admire everybody wanting to fight, but we need to get more people on board. If the citizens of Rosenberg learn that their water supply could be in jeopardy, you will get people listening to you.
So, at the very beginning of the meeting, I had a show of hands. Were you here for that?
Yes. And
okay. So the show of hands and I was very surprised at how many people showed up that are not Brazos Lakes residents, but that are concerned about their freshwater supply. We had a Sunday in the Fort Bend Herald. I don't know if you saw that or not, but we had a quarter of a page invitation to all of Fort Bend County to come to this meeting tonight to learn about their fresh water being in danger.
But
okay?
I hate to say this, I don't think the people really realized what you were talking about. Truthfully, I saw the flyer on Rosenberg today on Facebook, is how I found out.
That cost me 99 cents to become a subscriber. And I appreciate that. 99 cents got you in this seat. So we're in the Fort Bend Herald. We have a Facebook page. We're in Rosenberg today.
But do you specifically tell them about it going across that elbow joint?
Absolutely. If you look at
I haven't seen it anywhere.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
I just want to say thank you for all the information. I feel like I'm more informed about what's going on. You've got a big turnout. My only question is, now that you have everybody here, we're all pissed and fired up, what is the ask of us?
So the ask of us is just from the very beginning. I think as of right now, we've got 120 followers on Facebook. When these guys pull our Facebook page up and they see, like in the past, we had 33. They're gonna look at that and they're gonna laugh and they're like, we're not gonna show up. So everybody you know you got a grandson, you got a granddaughter, some neighborhood friend, little kid is always getting in your stuff. They can go out there and they can create 50 followers out of thin air. You know who they are. Get them to follow us so we can have 1,000 followers, okay? When something is posted, make a comment. Share this link of our Facebook page with somebody else. Because writing a letter, that's great. Sending an email, if you've noticed on the Facebook page, we've given you all the officials, addresses, phone numbers, and emails. I know me, I can copy and paste because I'm a teacher, man. Boom, your kid's bad, your kid's bad, your kid's bad, your kid's bad. Like that, I can do it. Anybody can email 60 people in less than an hour if you know how to do it.
The follow-up to that is simply this: consider what she said, because we're here because that's my house over there. She's here because this is Rosenberg's water being impacted. So if the problem is bigger than this, we need to make sure that everyone's aware of the problem. It's not just being the resident here, but all the impact that it is to everyone else. And that's the message we should think about trying to get out.
I agree. And this is our first town hall meeting, right? So Ann's got some things to say real quick.
You make a good point, Victor, and I have reached out and invited all the mayors. I don't think anyone showed up, and they have packets, but we will put the mayors of Rosenberg, Richmond on their contact information on the Facebook page so that we can reach out, like the lady said, to the powers in Rosenberg and Richmond. I also want to introduce some people that, Jesse made me wait, that came a long way to help us out and listen to our plight. From Troy Nels's office, we have William Chappelle. From Senator Joan Huffman's office, we have Jennifer Knessick. From Representative Stan Kitzman's office, we have Nathaniel Jesdal. And from Representative Lois Colhort's office, we have Paula Gibson. From the Fort Bend Toll Road Board, we have James Thompson and Mr. Mike Snow. David Gornett was going to attend, but it took too long to come in from Austin. I want to thank everyone for coming. Like I said, Brazos Lakes is extremely grateful for those who took the time to hear our plight. But the Commissioners' Court's chairs are empty. They hide. When asked to explain the reasons for this alignment, they unanimously answer, no comment. The Signorelli alignment only allows for new subdivisions and shopping malls to be built on the western side of the toll road north of 762. Why does Signorelli dictate what goes on in his property, but also what goes on in the George Foundation property? If we need a larger tax base, why build on only one side of the road? If you look at the George Foundation route north of 762, you can build neighborhoods and commercial shopping centers on both sides of the road. The Signorelli alignment hugs Brazos Lakes and only allows for growth on the western side. If we're to make money in the long term, is this route advisable? Did someone not do his homework? It's riddled with problems. We want and ask others to step up and question their judgment. We want everyone to email the people who are here, email the people who aren't here. Let our voices be heard. Let it be a tidal wave. Thank you.
Thank you. So real quick, this is the invitation that we gave, that I gave. I hand-delivered this to the county commissioners. Very benign, you know, and when I left my messages, emails, I was like, we're not here to roast you. You know, we're here to present data. You know, this is data-driven. There's three things here we're talking about: the negative impact of Brazos Lakes, the water supply being in jeopardy, and the loss of funds to the charitable organization of the George Foundation. So those are the three things that this new Signorelli alignment is going to take away or pose in jeopardy of. Okay?
Can you repeat that one more time, Jesse? Say it again. The three things.
So the three things are the negative impacts to Brazos Lakes, the freshwater supply that's going to be in jeopardy of Rosenberg and Richmond, and the loss of revenue, the loss of money that the George Foundation's charitable giving is going to do. It's going to stop, basically, in Fort Bend County because of this new alignment. So I'm hoping everybody is a pro on this map now, and they can see. One quick last question. Yes?
I appreciate the call to action, and I think that's been wonderful. What I didn't understand tonight is the sense of urgency for this call to action. Is this something where we need to affect some kind of result within 3 months, 6 months? Do you know a timeline for us?
I don't think there's a timeline in front of us right now, because all we hear is, I'm shovel ready, I'm ready to start building. Well, you know, the only way you're going to get heavy equipment is through 762. You're basically, we see what the dump trucks have done to 762 over and over and over again. Now we've got heavy equipment trucks coming through, bottlenecking, causing traffic, causing accidents, whatever. You know, 762 is going to bear the brunt of Austin Point being developed. So when you hear this shovel ready, that we need to get this road built, you know, segment C 99, the Grand Parkway, it still hasn't been built. We fought this road 20 years ago, and it's not because of us that it's been put on the table, but I guarantee you one thing, we had a whole lot to do with it, that road not coming through just yet. So urgency, yes, urgency's like tomorrow. You know, do everything you can, you know, whenever you can. And I think our new communications is, you know, Facebook. That's what we have today. Is to get on there, learn how it works, and, you know, contact more people. So every time an official goes to this site, Vote No Austin Point, they're seeing, you know, a whole lot of people there. They're seeing, you know, things moving. They're reading that Ann and I went to Commissioner's Court. Then Ann and I went to another meeting and learned this and learned that. There's a lot of information there that was gleaned through attending meetings that Ann and I go to 2 or 3 times a week, okay? So it's not just something you're finding online on the internet.
Jesse,
Yes.
one more thing. Just,
Dude, you keep adding things.
No, yeah, well, if you know my profession, you know why. I noticed in the ditch line coming this way from the subdivision at that crossing that's proposed, it looks like surveyor stakes. Have you seen that?
Publicly, I don't care. We put them there.
Oh, you guys put them there?
Yes.
Yes, we did. So what?
Now we know.
Hey, and I'm the one that painted that yellow line on the road too. Come for me. You know, big deal. It's another line of mistakes. But anyways, so listen, I want to thank everybody for coming. I don't want you to leave just yet. Underneath the chair, there is a couple of things for like $100 prize here. No, I'm kidding. Really? No. But I really want to thank y'all from the bottom of my heart, from the bottom of Ann's heart. I tell you, it's been very stressful to get this all together. But I want y'all to look at some of the things that are out here.
meet your neighbor, come on up here if you want to talk to some of these officials if you want. We still have a place for 20 minutes. So thank you all for coming. We will keep in contact.